Hi, this module is about the rights of participants. Participant rights. NDIS participants have the right to be safe and to receive quality services from the providers and workers they choose to support them under the NDIS. Australia commits to the United Nations Convention on the Rights of People with a Disability, and this organisation does too. We uphold our commitment by including in our code of conduct that staff will uphold the rights of participants. To breach a code of conduct can result in dismissal or in disciplinary action. Participant rights. As a service provider, we must ensure we provide information and education to our participants about their rights and some of their responsibilities. This is most effectively achieved at the time that a participant is onboarded, and we require confirmation that this has been completed in the form of an onboarding checklist which has been signed and dated by the participant or their carer, nominee, or guardian. This is evidence that's needed at audit and for your supervisor to see that things have been done as they're supposed to be done under the standards. Sometimes the best way to do this kind of education and to ensure that people understand their rights is to have something like an NDIS participant handbook, which contains all of that information. It's not the only way to do it, but it's certainly a very easy and simplistic way to ensure that everything is done in one go and it's all in one place and easy to find. The rights of participants are enforced in a number of ways. Number one, it's through Australia's commitment to uphold the United Nations Convention on Rights of People with a Disability. Number two, the NDIS quality and safety standards, which are enforced by the NDIS Commission. Now, you might be wondering about unregistered providers who are not subject to the NDIS quality and safety standards at the moment. The NDIS Commission still has oversight of all providers, whether they're registered or unregistered. The NDIS practice standards, which are the quality and safety standards, set out 5 core areas of rights and responsibilities. These describe the rights of participants as well as the things providers must do to show that these rights have been embedded in the way they deliver services. You can see the full set of indicators that service providers must demonstrate for each of these areas in something called the NDIS Practice Guidelines, which is available on the NDIS Commission's website. So, person-centred services. Person-centred supports. The outcome of this is that each participant accesses supports that promote, uphold and respect their legal and human rights, and is enabled to exercise informed choice and control. The provision of supports promotes, upholds and respects individual rights to freedom of expression, self-determination and decision-making. So this is about the right of the person with a disability to be at the centre of all the decisions about them. They want to have choice, control about their supports and to receive information in ways that's appropriate for them to understand. If somebody is not able to hear, they'll need an Auslan interpreter. If somebody doesn't speak English, they're possibly going to need something either in a written format that's in the language they can understand. And if somebody has an intellectual disability, they might need an easy read document. Individual values and beliefs. The outcome for this should be that each participant accesses supports that respect their culture, diversity, values, and beliefs. This is about the right of the person with a disability to choose and receive supports that are actually culturally appropriate and consistent with all of the aspects of their identity and beliefs. A really easy to understand example would be that if you had a practicing Muslim who was a participant, probably wouldn't be taking them to a Catholic church. It's not to say that they may not want to go, that could be an individual decision. but I would expect that you need to ask that person and really find out what is right for them, what they're willing to accept in terms of service delivery. Privacy and dignity. The outcome of this is that each participant accesses supports that respect and protect their dignity and their right to privacy. You can see by the pictures that dressing and undressing is one of the most important things for people in group homes or in aged care facilities as well, and that ensuring that the doors are closed and that other people aren't having a chat in the room when somebody's dressing. Also making sure that people's notes are not there for everybody to read, and also the picture down the bottom of people talking. It's not okay to be talking about your participants outside of the workplace, and especially if you're working for another NDIS provider, talking with other staff. It's a breach of confidentiality. So this is about the right of that person with a disability to have their personal details kept private and confidential. The person must give their consent before anything about them is spoken or shared with anybody else. Independence and informed choice. The outcome for this should be that each participant is supported by the provider to make informed choices, exercise control, and maximise their independence relating to the supports provided. It means that they need to be making decisions for themselves about what supports they wish to receive. However, we need to also remember that some people are not able to make all of their decisions without assistance and help understanding sometimes the impacts of the decisions that they might make. This is about the right of the person with a disability to be autonomous and take charge of their own life. It might include making decisions that involve some degree of risk, like surfing in a wheelchair, expressing themselves sexually, which might be about wearing the types of clothes that make them feel nice or sexy or alive. Reviewing or reconsidering the support options at any time. They can come and go as they please from any provider, or accessing an advocate of their own choosing. It's just like finding a support worker. They need to be able to trust and know that that advocate fits right for them. Violence, abuse, neglect, exploitation, and discrimination. The outcome of this should be that each participant accesses supports free from violence, abuse, neglect, exploitation, or discrimination. This is about the rights of that person with a disability to be safe at all times, to be supported in the event of an incident, and to have any allegations they make against any person or organisation investigated and acted upon. Let me tell you one of the most common things I hear and see in relation to this. Support workers hugging or touching clients in a way that hasn't been invited. And so it's really important to ensure that support workers understand professional boundaries, and that when working in a paid position with somebody, and especially somebody who's vulnerable, different set of rules apply than when you're out in public with your friends. So really take on board what is professional and what is unprofessional, and be really serious about ensuring that you keep to those rules and regulations. Excellent. Thank you for listening. Now answer some assessment questions and you'll receive your certificate.